If you want to push 100 stars in solo queue, imagine ranked like a messy kingdom, where your lanes don't continuously listen, pings receive ignored. Additionally, the enemy jungler is hunting your weak side like it's a sport. In that kingdom, your job as a jungler isn't to gank a lot. Your job is to create order, tempo, vision, objectives. Additionally, fights that are unfair in your favor. So here's the story ranked top 5 jungle heroes for solo queue climbing, from 5 to 1, and exactly why each hero earns that spot. Number 5, Dian Wei, the axe that ends arguments. Picture the typical solo queue moment. Your mid laner is trading badly, your farm lane is tilted. Additionally, your support is roaming at the worst times. With many junglers, that's a disaster, because they need clean setups, perfect peel. Alternatively, coordinated follow-up. Dian Wei doesn't ask for any of that. He's number 5 because he's not invariably the fastest snowballer, and yes, if you miss era engages, he can attain kited. But he's here because he's reliable and punishing. And solo queue is a buffet of mistakes. Someone steps up for one extra minion, someone face checks river, someone greed pushes without vision. Dian Wei lives for those moments. Why he's strong for solo queue? 1. Simple win condition. Farm, hit your spike, force fights. 2. Low execution, superior value. You don't need fancy mechanics to carry. 3. He punishes overconfidence. Enemy squishies can't freestyle near you. How you actually win games with Dian Wei. Full clear cleanly, hit level 4, then demonstrate up to the first real fight like a villain. You want fights near objectives because people will walk into you, and Dian Wei thrives when the battlefield is tight and messy. The don't throw rule. Don't chase too deep without a plan. Don't take fights before your spike. Don't ignore objectives just to hunt kills. Fix those, and Dian Wei becomes a solo queue hammer. Number 4, Musashi, the duelist who brings his own team fight. Musashi is number 4 because he's the most I can do this myself jungler without being purely feast or famine. In solo queue, the biggest concern is consistency. Some games your team sets you up. Some games your team sabotages you by accident. So you want a hero who can duel the enemy jungler, force fights with a simple plan. Additionally, still be useful when lanes are messy. Musashi does that. He's placed here because he's more consistent than pure assassins in messy games, but he's not consistently the most unfair snowball compared to the top 3. Still, he's the king of reliable pressure. Why he's strong? 1. Strong duels. You can win matchups and invade. 2. Reliable engage. You can create openings yourself. 3. Remarkable tempo. You're useful even while farming. The Musashi win pattern is about control. You don't just gank, you own the river. Clear efficiently. Reveal for ganks only when they're elevated percentage. Contest early objectives on your timing. If the enemy jungler shows top, you take something bot. If they force an inferior fight, you punish by taking what they forgot. The biggest mistake Musashi players construct? They treat him like an assassin and dive too deep alone. Musashi isn't one shot and vanish. He's commit and finish. Number 3, Chicha, the 5-weapon snowball machine. Now this is where things gain spicy. Chicha is number 3 because she gives you something most junglers don't. Multiple playstyles inside one hero. In solo queue, you don't consistently know what kind of game you're going to secure. Maybe your lanes are winning and you just need to snowball. Maybe your lanes are losing and you need to stabilize. Maybe you need to duel the enemy jungler. Maybe you need to dive their carry. Chicha can adapt, because her kit literally changes based on weapon form. She's not number 1 or 2 because she has a higher skill demand. Additionally, if you swap forms randomly, you'll feel useless. But if you're disciplined, she becomes a ranked nightmare. Why Chicha is elite for solo queue jungle. 1. She can duel early with the right weapon choice. 2. She can gank in different ways. Engage, burst. Alternatively, 3. She can delete squishies, then immediately reposition and keep fighting. The Chicha rule that makes you climb. Don't play all forms every fight. Play one form with a purpose. If you're ganking, pick the form that sticks to targets. If you're contesting objective, pick the form that controls space and punishes entries. If you're cleaning up, pick the form that finishes and resets your positioning. Believe of her like a toolbox. The strongest Chicha players are not the fastest hands, they're the best decision makers. Number 2, Oghren, the tempo king. Oghren is number 2 because solo queue is a race, and Oghren starts running before everyone else ties their shoes. Most solo queue losses happen like this. lanes fall behind early, people start arguing, the enemy gets objectives for free. Additionally, then you're forced into inadequate fights. Oghren flips that script because he plays the game at a speed that pressures the entire map. When you pilot him correctly, the enemy team feels late to everything. Late to river, late to lanes, late to defend, late to breathe. Why he's ranked this lofty? 1. Fast pressure. You display up before enemies prepare. 2. Objective control. You create a rhythm they must follow. 3. Snowball without perfect teammates. Tempo still wins. Here's the Oghren mindset. Your goal is not gain kills. Your goal is to force the map to collapse. Clear with intent, not autopilot. Track the enemy jungler. Take the first objective fight on your timing. After every kill, ask, what did this unlock? Tower, Tyrant, Invade, Vision, Steal camps. Oghren ends games because every limited win becomes a bigger advantage. And number 1, Lamb. The solo queue final boss. Lamb is number 1 because he's the full package. Mobility, assassination, chase, cleanup. Additionally, fight control. And he converts chaos into wins better than anyone else here. Lamb doesn't just receive kills. Lamb decides who gets to play the fight. In solo queue, your team may not peel. Your support may not ward. Your mid may roam late. Lamb doesn't beg for structure. He creates it by removing the enemy's key piece. He ranks above Oghren because when games gain messy, and they constantly do, Lamb still has a clean path. Pick someone, delete the carry, escape, repeat. Additionally, take objectives after the enemy loses numbers. Why Lamb is the number 1 climber? 1. Best cleanup potential. You end fights your team starts badly. 2. Lofty mobility. You fix deficient map states fast. 3. Constant backline threat. Enemy carries must play scared. 4. Fast conversions. Kills become objectives instantly. The story of a Lamb carry game. Early game, you are a hunter. Quiet, efficient, collecting tiny advantages. Mid game, you become the tax collector. Anyone who walks alone pays. Late game, you become the end screen button. One pick means towers and the game closing. The Lamb rules that generate you unstoppable. 1. Never reveal first. Let the fight breathe for 1 or 2 seconds. 2. Target highest damage, not lowest HP. 3. After a kill, don't autopilot chase. Recheck the map. Objective, tower, invade, reset. 4. If you're behind, stop forcing. Farm, shadow your strongest lane, take guaranteed picks only. And here's the solo queue jungle cheat code that works on all 5 heroes. Clear clean, take information, create a numbers advantage, take an objective, repeat. Kills are not the win condition. Kills are the permission slip to take towers and objectives. If you want, tell me your rank, Diamond, Master, alternatively, GM, and which style you like more, easy bruiser carry, or towering skill, raised reward. And I'll offer you a 2-hero pool, plus the exact pathing and gank timings to push stars faster.